Hello and welcome to video lecture series in Sociology. Today we are going to discuss chapter 2, Cultural Changes, from your textbook Social Change and Development in India. This chapter is divided into two parts. The first deals with the social reform movement in India and the second deals with processes of social and cultural change. In the previous lecture on this chapter, we discussed about social reform movement in late 19th and early 20th Indian society. Today, we will discuss processes of cultural and social changes. These are modernization, westernization, Sanskritization and secularization. We will begin our discussion today with processes of modernization. The term modernization has a long history. From the late 19th and early 20th century, the term began to be associated with positive and desirable values. People in societies wanted to be modern. There are different variants of the concept of modern used in general discussions, such as modern, modernity, modernization. What do we mean by these concepts? Modern in everyday life refers to something new and up to date. It is predominantly characterized by mass production, consumerism, urban living, nation states, liberal and secular values. Whereas modernity describes the attributes of a modern society. And modernization means the process of societies becoming modern. Modern is a break from tradition. It is characterized by a specific set of values and ideas. In modern societies, social life is organized around formal rules and bureaucratic procedures rather than customs and tradition. Here, science replaces religion as a major source of intellectual authority. Let us look at the difference between modern and pre-modern type of societies and social structures. The pre-modern type of societies are agricultural economies having small-scale units of production. It has a small village community and small towns. In pre-modern societies, religion is the major source of knowledge and people follow traditional values and behavioral patterns. In these societies, aristocracy is the dominant class and peasantry forms the majority. The government is monarchical type. On the contrary, modern societies are industrial economies having large-scale mass production. They have large cities and urban centers. Here, science is the major source of knowledge and rational goal-oriented activities are carried out. Dominant class is the capitalist class and industrial workers from the majority class. These societies are characterized by a democratic form of government. Modern societies developed from pre-modern societies through process of modernization. What is modernization? Modernization in general refers to the path of development that much of Western Europe and North America had taken. One of the most significant influence in the process of modernization was an intellectual movement known as Enlightenment. We cannot understand modernity or process of modernization without referring to Enlightenment. What is Enlightenment? Enlightenment is the period in the history of Western thought and culture, stretching roughly from 16th to 18th century, characterized by revolutions in science, philosophy, society and politics. These revolutions swept away the medieval world order and ushered in modernity in the Western world. It was a period of intellectual upheaval in European society. This movement is called as Enlightenment because the scholars believed that they were throwing light into the gloom of a world which for a long time had been dominated by tradition, superstition, irrationality and religious dogma, also called as Dark Ages of European society. Enlightenment was based on the idea of power of human reason and the rights of individual and commitment to social progress, which will bring about desirable social and political change. You may ask a question here that what made Enlightenment possible, or how did new ideas of Enlightenment affect the economy, society and polity? How did scientific progress promote trust in human reason? Let us understand the ideas behind the Age of Enlightenment. To understand significance of these ideas, we need to know what were the conditions prevalent in European society where these revolutionary ideas emerged. In Europe, people from all sections of society were discontented. Economy was agricultural, production was not enough even for subsistence. People were forced to follow unacceptable restrictions in society. The so-called government, usually the monarch and the aristocrats, did not respond to the needs of the society. On the contrary, masses were taxed heavily and unjustly. Religion was a dominant force governing all aspects of life. In this context, Enlightenment emerged as a rejection of religion, dogma, superstition, monarchy, disorder. During this time, church, monarchy and aristocracy became prime targets of Enlightenment. You may ask here, what made Enlightenment possible? There are two important principles. The first is the role of reason. During this time, science was epitome of reason and rationality because it produced objective knowledge of the world that was not conditioned by religious superstition. Enlightenment stressed upon the use of reason and rationality to understand and explain the world. The second important principle is the confidence that human beings can use this knowledge to transform the world for better. Scientific knowledge would give people more power and control over nature, and this power would be used to improve the human condition. For example, scientific developments would create more productive agriculture, more consumer goods, and medicine would reduce diseases. Thus, it was assumed that reason has the capacity to eliminate irrationality, and through reason, man could discover the laws that regulated society. Through rationality, man can progress and a perfect society can be established. As stated by Auguste Comte, the motto of the Enlightenment became to know is to predict and to predict is to control. Let us look at who were the people or the philosophers of Enlightenment and what were their concerns. The intellectuals who initiated or spread these ideas were called as philosophers. They were social critics, writers, political scientists, economists and social reformers. These philosophers attacked traditional laws, institutions and practices. They attacked everything that they considered to be unreasonable or unnatural. They believed that the people had the capacity to make the changes that would make life better for them. For them, future was bright. The philosophers and their ideas were not confined by national borders. Even during the time of war or social unrest, they corresponded with each other as usual. The roots of the movements were found in France and England, and soon it spread to Scotland, Germany, Italy, Spain and other parts of the world. Sociology as a discipline emerged during this time only, as an attempt to make a sense of massive changes that were taking place across Western Europe. The fact that societies could be transformed so radically led scholars to explore the sources of social order and change, and thus came discipline of sociology into existence. Just as natural scientists used reason to explain natural world, in the same way sociologists attempted to use reason to explain the social world. These thinkers or sociologists believed that human reason could be used to combat ignorance, superstition and tyranny and build a better world. There had been a number of scholars who had challenged the church's view of the world long before Enlightenment as well. However, again what was distinctive about Enlightenment is that it was a social movement whose influence spread beyond the scholars and borders. Technological developments, particularly printing and transport, led to spread of ideas of Enlightenment to large number of people. These ideas were debated and discussed widely. So, what are the core social ideas of Enlightenment, or what core social ideas Enlightenment attempted to establish? They rejected the slave trade and slavery. They condemned religious prejudices. They advocated for freedom of speech, attacked divine right theory and established that all men are created free and equal. Enlightenment urged education for all, and they challenged unequal distribution of property. The philosophers believed that government should be freely elected, as only a freely elected government can ensure order in society. They advocated for separation of powers, and separation of powers is the best way to protect human rights and liberties. For them, every social, political and economic problem can be solved through use of reason. The two ideas that appear as important ideas time and again in the philosophy of Enlightenment are liberty and equality. What do we mean by liberty and equality? Liberty includes the notion of individual, human rights and self-determination. It incorporates a type of government in which people are sovereign, and it establishes the importance of a representative assembly and written constitution. Equality means equality of rights, civil liberties and opportunities. Equality means equality before law and no special privileges given to the rich. Equality also means careers open to talent. That means careers open through achievement rather than hereditary ascription. Although there were obstacles in the way of reshaping of European society, such as kings, dogmatic churches, however, the forces of change triumphed over forces of continuity. So, what kind of social, economic and political changes came about as a result of Enlightenment? Let us look at some of the political changes. As trade and communication improved during this period, people began to challenge traditional forms of government, that is, monarchy. They wanted to be governed by representatives of people, write new charters, form new laws and write new constitution. As far as economic changes are concerned, during the late Middle Ages, people had begun to move from rural areas to towns in search of increased freedom and prosperity. This was a period of industrial revolution and industry came with a bang. In terms of social changes, a new class of merchants brought back wealth from colonies, which partially displaced the old aristocracy and emergence of industrial elite. Their power had been rooted earlier in the ownership of land. Now it was ownership of the capital. As a result of industrial revolution, a new class structure emerged in European society. And in the new social order, individualism, freedom and change replaced community, authority and tradition as core values. There emerged a desire to create social standards based on science, reason and rationality, not on the basis of religion and tradition. In sum, Enlightenment brought about a cultural change by establishing ideals of modernity such as liberty, equality, human rights, religious tolerance and self-governance. Modernity changed the character of world forever. These modern ideas were planted by colonizers later in other parts of the world, like what Britishers did in India. Modernity in the West was a result of Renaissance and Enlightenment that replaced the religious-based worldview and cognitive methods of Middle Ages. The institutions and basic ideas of modernity proceeded without legitimation from religion. Before modernity, monarchy, class hierarchy, jurisprudence, cosmology and education were very much under religious control and justification, whereas modernity replaced all these. Modernity assumes that local ties and parochial perspectives give way to universal commitments and cosmopolitan attitudes. Truth of utility, calculation and science in modernity take precedence over those of emotions, the sacred and the non-rational. The individual rather than the group in modernity becomes the primary unit of society and politics. So, the hallmark of modernity can be identified as the empirical scientific method, complex of industrialized nation states with their non-monarchical governments, freedom of religious expression and religious pluralism, and finally, science, rationality and reason. Intellectuals, philosophers and social reformers of early 20th century India were deeply influenced by these modern ideas and values. They attempted to introduce modernity and modern ideas in India through education reform policies and practices. Indeed, India embraced modernity, but it is manifest in a slightly different manner that we will discuss in subsequent lectures. To conclude, let us summarize what we discussed today. We started our discussion by discussing meaning of modernity and process of modernization. We differentiated between features of pre-modern and modern societies. We discussed the process of enlightenment and how this process led to emergence of modernity in Europe. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the processes of Sanskritization and Westernization. Till then, you can enjoy reading your textbook.